September 2023. Riley Carter's first breakfast at the Hamilton house started at 4:47 a.m. She'd arrived 3 days earlier with nothing but a duffel bag and the kind of desperation that made 19 feel like 40. The lady at the employment agency had said it plainly. Live-in position, wealthy family. They're particular, but the pay is steady. Steady was all Riley needed. Steady meant she could save. Saving meant lawyers. Lawyers meant getting Devon back. The kitchen was massive, all white marble and stainless steel, the kind of kitchen you saw in magazines. Riley's hands trembled as she cracked eggs into the pan, hyper-aware of every sound. Mrs. Hamilton had been clear during the interview. Breakfast at 6:30. Not 6:35. Not 6:25. 6:30. When the family filed in, Riley pressed herself against the counter, trying to be invisible. "Good morning," she offered quietly. Mrs. Hamilton barely glanced at her. "Coffee's in the French press. Madison takes her eggs scrambled soft. Chase wants his hard. My husband and I will have omelets. No good morning back. No thank you." Riley told herself it didn't matter. This was work. Nothing personal. But when she set the plates down, Mrs. Hamilton touched the rim of hers and frowned. "This is barely warm. Were you paying attention?"
I'm sorry.
"Just remake it, please." The please somehow made it worse. That night, Riley lay on the cot they'd set up in the laundry room, tucked between the washer and shelving units, and told herself it would get easier. By November, Riley had learned the rhythm of survival in the Hamilton house. Wake at 4:30, shower in the basement bathroom while everyone slept. Start coffee, make breakfast, clean the kitchen, vacuum the first floor, scrub the bathrooms, do the laundry, make lunch, more cleaning, start dinner prep, serve dinner, clean again, collapse around 11 p.m., $200 a week, cash, no contract. She tried to ask about a day off once. Mrs. Hamilton had looked at her like she'd suggested burning the house down. "Riley, we all work hard here. That's what makes a family function. I thought you understood that." Riley never asked again. The breaking point came on a Tuesday. Madison, now 13 and meaner for it, had started a new game. She'd leave trash on Riley's cot. Candy wrappers, tissues, once a half-eaten sandwich. "Oops," she'd say when Riley found it. Thought that was the trash area. Chase was worse. He'd dump things, juice, cereal, soap, and call Riley to clean it, watching her scrub with this smile that made Riley's skin crawl. And Mrs. Hamilton? She'd started this thing where she'd inspect Riley's work and redo it herself, sighing loudly. "I suppose if you want something done right." Riley stopped eating in the kitchen after Mr. Hamilton walked in one evening, saw her sitting at the small breakfast nook with leftover pasta, and said, "That's where the family eats, Riley." After that, she ate standing up, usually cold food, usually alone. At night, she'd pull out her phone and look at the last photo she had of Devon. His gap-toothed smile, his Spider-Man shirt, his eyes that still trusted the world wouldn't hurt him. She'd saved $1,400. The lawyer needed $5,000 just to start. Before we go any further, comment where in the world you're watching from and make sure to subscribe because tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. Now back to the story. 5 months in, the coldest part of winter hit Chicago like a fist, and the laundry room had no heating vent. Riley wore 2 sweatshirts to bed and still woke shivering. She'd stopped crying by then, not because things got better, because she'd learned that tears changed nothing. The Hamiltons were hosting a dinner party, some charity fundraiser Mrs. Hamilton had been planning for weeks. Riley spent 2 days cleaning, polishing, arranging flowers, preparing food under the direction of the caterers Mrs. Hamilton hired to make sure everything is perfect. The night of the party, Riley worked in the background, passing appetizers, refilling drinks, clearing plates. She heard Mrs. Hamilton tell a woman in pearls, "We're just so blessed to be able to give back. You know? We even took in a young woman who needed help. She's been with us for months now. Practically family." Riley's hands tightened on the tray she was holding. Practically family. She slept in a laundry room, After the guests left and Riley was elbow-deep in dishwater at midnight, Mrs. Hamilton appeared in the kitchen doorway. "Riley, I noticed you look tired tonight, in front of guests. I need you to understand, when we have people over, you represent this household. Appearance matters." Riley's voice came out flat. "I understand." "Good. Make sure the floors are mopped before you go to bed." Riley finished at 2:17 a.m. She sat on her cot afterward, staring at her phone. The lawyer had emailed. Devon's case was being reviewed. There was a hearing in April. If Riley could prove stable housing and income, there was a chance. A chance. She'd saved $2,800. 9 months in, summer came, and with it, the kind of heat that made the laundry room feel like a tomb. Riley had stopped sleeping well, stopped eating much. Her reflection in the bathroom mirror showed someone hollowed out. But she was close. So close. $4,200 saved. 1 more month. Maybe 2. That's what she told herself every morning when Madison mocked her hair. When Chase spilled things on purpose. When Mrs. Hamilton's voice turned to ice over the smallest imperfection. That's what she told herself when Mr. Hamilton started making comments about her body that made her skin crawl. Nothing overt. Just enough to make her know she wasn't safe. She kept her head down, kept working, kept surviving, until the morning everything shattered. Riley burned the bacon. It was 6:15 a.m. She'd been up since 4, dizzy from lack of sleep, and she turned away for 30 seconds. 30 seconds, and the smoke alarm went off. Mrs. Hamilton came down the stairs like a storm. "What is wrong with you? Do you have any idea how tired I am of excuses? Of babysitting you? Of pretending this is working when clearly you don't care enough to?" Riley's voice cracked. "I'm doing everything I can." "Well, it's not enough." The words hit like a slap. Mrs. Hamilton's face was red. Her perfectly styled hair still perfect even in rage. "Maybe this just isn't the right fit. Maybe you need to find somewhere else to." "Please." The word came out broken. "Please, I need this job. I'm trying to get my brother back. I'm so close. Please don't." Mrs. Hamilton's expression didn't soften. If anything, it hardened. "That's not my problem, Riley." Something in Riley cracked. She nodded. Threw out the bacon. Made more. Served breakfast in silence while the family ate like nothing had happened. After they left, Mr. Hamilton to work, the kids to summer camp, Mrs. Hamilton to her tennis lesson, Riley went out to the back porch to clean. And finally, she let herself break. Riley was on her knees scrubbing bird droppings off the stone tiles when she heard footsteps. She didn't look up. Probably the landscaper. Or a delivery person. "Excuse me." The voice was male. Gentle. Riley's head snapped up, and she scrambled to her feet, wiping her face with the back of her hand. Her eyes were swollen. Her cheeks wet. The man standing there was tall, black, dressed in a suit that looked expensive but not flashy. He was maybe 30, with kind eyes and a slight crease of concern between his brows. "I'm sorry," Riley said quickly, trying to compose herself. "I didn't know anyone was here. Are you looking for Mr. Hamilton?" The man didn't answer right away. He just looked at her. Really looked at her, and Riley felt suddenly naked. Seen. "I am," he said finally. "But are you okay?" 3 words. Simple. Direct. Riley's throat closed up. "I'm fine," she lied. He didn't look convinced. "What's your name?" "Riley." "I'm Marcus." He paused. "How long have you been working here, Riley?" Something about the way he asked made Riley's defenses crack. 9 months. Marcus nodded slowly, his eyes taking in the bucket of cleaning supplies, her worn clothes, the exhaustion written all over her. "You live here?" "Yes." "Do you mind if I ask where?" Riley hesitated. Then, "The laundry room." Marcus's jaw tightened. Before he could respond, the back door opened and Mrs. Hamilton appeared, all smiles. "Mr. Reed, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you'd arrived. Please, come inside." Her voice was warm, sweet, nothing like the voice that had torn Riley apart hours earlier. Marcus held Riley's gaze for 1 more second. Then he followed Mrs. Hamilton inside. Riley stood there, heart pounding, wondering what she'd just done. 20 minutes later, Marcus sat in the Hamiltons' pristine living room, barely hearing Mr. Hamilton's pitch about investment opportunities. He was thinking about the girl on the porch. 9 months, laundry room, the way she'd looked gutted. And of course, we're very committed to community outreach, Mrs. Hamilton was saying, setting down a tray of iced tea. We actually have a young woman staying with us, Riley. Such a sweet girl. We've really tried to be a blessing in her life. Marcus's attention sharpened. Is that right? He said carefully. Oh yes, she needed help and we opened our home. It's been wonderful having her here. The back door opened. Riley entered with fresh glasses, eyes down, moving like a ghost. Riley, honey, could you bring some lemon? Mrs. Hamilton's voice dripped warmth. Yes, ma'am. As Riley turned to leave, Marcus spoke. Riley, hold on. She froze. Mrs. Hamilton's smile flickered. Mr. Reed, she said lightly. I'm sure Riley has. I'd like to ask her something. Marcus turned to Riley, his voice gentle but firm. How much are you paid? The room temperature dropped. Mr. Reed, that's hardly. Riley. Riley's eyes darted to Mrs. Hamilton, then back to Marcus. Her voice came out barely above a whisper. $200 a week. And you work how many hours? All of them. Marcus leaned back, his face carefully neutral. No days off. No, sir. And again, you sleep in the laundry room? Yes, sir. Mrs. Hamilton stood abruptly. Mr. Reed, I don't appreciate what you're insinuating. We've given Riley a place to stay when she had nowhere. You've exploited her. Marcus's voice was quiet, steel-edged. You're paying her less than minimum wage to work around the clock, and you call it charity. Mr. Hamilton's face flushed. Now wait just a... Marcus ignored him. He looked at Riley, really looked at her, and asked the question that would change everything. Do you want to leave? Riley's heart stopped. Do you want to leave? For words. A door opening. Her voice failed. Mrs. Hamilton moved forward. Riley, don't be dramatic. You're upset about this morning, but we can talk about... I wasn't talking to you, Marcus said, still watching Riley. I was talking to her. He stood, reached into his jacket, and pulled out a business card. My name is Marcus Reed. I run a foundation that helps young people get back on their feet, housing, education, legal support, job placement. Whatever you need. He held out the card. I'm offering you a way out. Right now. Today. Riley stared at the card like it might disappear. This is absolutely inappropriate. Mrs. Hamilton's voice rose. You can't just come into our home and... Tell me something, Marcus said, turning to face her. Does Riley have a contract? Silence. Is she documented as an employee? Taxes paid? Workers' comp? More silence. That's what I thought. He looked back at Riley. They can't stop you from leaving. You don't owe them anything. Riley's hands shook as she took the card. Riley. Mrs. Hamilton's voice turned pleading. Think about this. Where will you go? How will you help your brother without money? Marcus spoke before Riley could. What brother? Riley's voice cracked. Devin. He's 7. He's been in foster care since our mom died last year. I'm trying to get custody, but I need... Tears spilled over. I need money for a lawyer, for an apartment. I need to prove I can take care of him. Marcus nodded slowly. The foundation can help with that. All of it. You can't possibly, Mr. Hamilton started. I can, and I will. Marcus looked at Riley one more time. It's your choice, but you don't have to stay here. Riley thought about 9 months of sleeping in a laundry room, of eating standing up, of being invisible unless she made a mistake, of Mrs. Hamilton's cruelty disguised as charity. She thought about Devin's face, about the hearing in 2 months, about how she was killing herself here and it still might not be enough. And then she thought about the man standing in front of her, a stranger who'd seen her crying and decided she mattered. I want to leave, she whispered. Then louder, I want to leave. Riley's entire life fit into one duffel bag. 2 pairs of jeans. For shirts, underwear, socks, a hairbrush, Devon's Spider-Man toy that she'd managed to keep, Mama's Bible with her name written inside. She was zipping it when Mrs. Hamilton appeared in the doorway of the laundry room. "Riley, please, let's talk about this. You're making a mistake." Riley didn't look up. "I don't think I am. You're going to leave with a complete stranger? Throw away everything we've built together." Riley's hands stilled. She turned slowly. "What did we build, Mrs. Hamilton?" The question hung in the air. Mrs. Hamilton's face hardened. "I gave you a chance when no one else would. And this is how you repay me." Riley slung the bag over her shoulder. "You gave me a prison and called it a gift." She walked past Mrs. Hamilton, past Mr. Hamilton standing in the hallway with his arms crossed, past Madison and Chase watching from the stairs with wide eyes. Marcus waited by the front door. Riley paused at the threshold, turned back one last time. The Hamiltons stood there, this perfect, wealthy family in their perfect, wealthy house, and for the first time in 9 months, Riley saw them clearly. Small, cruel, afraid. "Thank you," she said quietly. Mrs. Hamilton blinked. "For what?" "For showing me what I don't want to become." Then Riley walked out. The June air hit her face, warm and clean and free. Marcus's car was parked in the circular driveway, sleek and black. He opened the passenger door for her. Riley climbed in, clutching her duffel bag, tears streaming down her face. As they pulled away, she watched the Hamilton house shrink in the side mirror. 9 months of her life. 9 months of believing she had to endure anything to survive. She'd been wrong. "You okay?" Marcus asked. Riley wiped her face, looked down at the business card still clutched in her hand, and felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. "Hope. I thought suffering was my story," she said softly, more to herself than to him. "I didn't know God had written another chapter." Marcus smiled. "Well, Riley Carter, let's go see what that chapter says." For the first time in 9 months, maybe the first time since Mama died, Riley let herself believe. She believed in fresh starts. She believed in strangers who chose kindness. She believed that maybe, just maybe, she and Devon would make it home. October 2024. Riley stood outside the courthouse, phone pressed to her ear, heart hammering. "Ms. Carter." The judge's clerk sounded tired but not unkind. "The ruling came through. Custody is granted. You can pick up your brother tomorrow." Riley's knees buckled. Marcus caught her elbow, steadied her. "What did they say?" She looked up at him. This man who'd pulled her out of darkness, who'd kept every promise, who'd helped her find a job, an apartment, a lawyer, herself. "I got him," she whispered. "I got Devon." And then she was crying and laughing and Marcus was hugging her, and the world was still hard and broken and unfair. But in that moment, standing in the October sun, Riley Carter was free, and she was bringing her brother home. If the story moved you in any way, please take a second to like this video, subscribe, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one.